And we are live. Can you see me? Let's see. Okay. Keeps focusing in and out. Let me see. Okay. Okay. So let's start. The goal was to discuss um, basically three things coming in as international students. And the very first thing I would like to say is welcome. I welcome everybody who's a new student at U of H or any other university who might be joining in the live session. Um, the things I wanted to discuss today was how to get driver's license, how to settle in. If you have any questions about that, Teradata services, and apparently my access UH, which I don't have access to as I'm an alumni, but you guys should have it. And I would like to talk some things on how to use the resources there so your life is easier here. So let's see. Teradata service. Yeah, let me get to this website first of all, International Student and Scholar Service Office. This office is like the most important place you will find um, on campus. That's gonna be part of your life for next three years at least. If you're planning to stay here, it's gonna be the most important place um, because they'll be doing a lot of things uh, as, for you as an international student. They will be the ones who will be approving your CPT and OPT, which is optional practical training and curricular practical training, which allows you to work uh, for companies where you can get experience, right? So these are this office is going to be very crucial for you. So I would say make good relations with them, have frequent appointments with them so that you understand uh, what's the next thing you need to take care of as an international student because things are moving very quickly and you might need to be on your A game to understand, okay, here's where I need to make a change or a pivot in my strategy as a student. You might be coming in as a PhD student or a master student, right? So understanding those things, this office is going to be very important uh, when you're dealing with something that you don't understand completely. For example, I didn't understand how to apply for a CPT at all. They had a wonderful session that they organized on how to apply for CPT, how to qualify for it, what do you need, how can you get your SSN, and everything. And they were really kind and helpful. Unfortunately, when I was a student, that staff has already moved to other places. Uh, but the new staff is also very very kind and very helpful. So I would make sure that you guys reach out to them whenever possible, attend their sessions, and learn. Make sure you note down everything so that you don't forget, like me. uh, so yeah. international student ISSSO office is going to be something very crucial for next 3 years of your life. Um, uh, Make sure to visit the office. Make sure where it is. You know where it is. For anybody living on campus or off campus, it's 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 behind the student center south. It's in the student center north, and in that, if you go to the first floor, you'll find it on the right side. It's right there, and they're open from morning, I believe, nine to evening 4 to 5. They're there, and make sure to give them a visit. Tell them where you are. You want to talk to an advisor. Just get. They are also the one responsible for issuing your I-20. So that's them. Um, that was the ISSSO information that I wanted to share. And what else am I covering other than driver's license? What else? Let's see. Okay, so that was the SEVIS ISSSO check-in. Make sure your SEVIS account is up to date. SEVIS is gonna be your student identity for the government. Make sure student identity is up to date, right? So that's gonna be that. Uh, what else? Yes, that's when SEVIS is the place where you update your any changes that happen in your life. Maybe your name has changed, maybe your last name. Maybe if you're on OPT or CPT, when you're working, you change a job, then your manager changes, and then you have to report that, hey, my manager has changed on SEVIS, because if they find any inconsistencies, that could be a reason for your expulsion from the country. So make sure that's SEVIS is always in order. And for University of Houston students, uh, the check-in, the SEVIS is done through Teradata. That's the name of the portal. When you click into this, you'll find yourself registering here, and then there will be another portal which will take you to basically it will take you to a place where you can put in your information, which is your I-20, your offer letter, which whatever things you need to submit to the I-983 form, which will happen once you get a job. I-983 is also OPT self-report. Basically, you are reporting what you're doing at the job, all that stuff. So that's SEVIs and ISSSO check-in. Um, Make sure you meet the check-in deadline. That's for those incoming students. I don't know when the SEVIs check-in deadline is, but it should be in the email that you should receive. Now, one thing to take care of is your Gmail might flag it as a junk mail, or it might move to trash can on accident. So make sure you check all your emails and filter them, label them according to ISSSO, because those will be the most important emails you'll be getting uh, throughout your journey here uh, as a student. Okay, so make sure to check in early. Now let's go to banking. Yes, so I started with JP Morgan Chase. There's a lot of options that you can access as a student. So Bank of America is another one, PNC Bank. So JP Morgan Chase was felt very seamless, and I to date still use it. It's very useful if you're under 25. You don't need to have a minimum balance of 1,500. You can have $0, and it could still function as a completely safe bank account. For opening a bank account, what you need, this is the information. You need a valid passport. When if you've just traveled, you probably have. your visa stamp, your I-20, your we used to have DS-160, your DS-2019, right? Uh, you should have a proof of address or a university housing letter, lease agreement, or what you can do is you can take somebody who's already living there and they can vouch for you that this person is staying with us. So I had an aunt who came with me to provide the proof of address, and that basically worked, right? Uh, the second thing you can have is a student ID, and just I think none of the Indian uh, licenses would work for that. So make sure you have that. So you see, monthly fees waived up to 5 years while at college. So Chase Bank was really great to me. They were really nice, good banking services. A lot of students also have Bank of America, which is also very nice. Their services are very seamless. So these are your options to go and open a bank account. And I would recommend opening a bank account as soon as you land. A few things are phone number, getting a phone number, opening a bank account, and getting your preparing for a job, starting to get on campus jobs, right? So those could be some questions that people might have. uh, what else could I cover? uh, yes, let's go to driver's license. Driver's license is something you can avail. I would say pursue it immediately as soon as you get your SSN. And when you only get SSN when you are either on CPT, which is something you can apply for 6 months after you're in, once you have a job offer. First of all, that's something needed. Uh, or you're on an OPT, or you found a on-campus job like a teaching assistant or a research assistant or instruction assistant, or maybe some other job that's related to service or AV technology, etc. There's a lot of jobs on campus. So once you have a job, you can get an SSN letter from ISSSO, and you need to apply for a driver's license as soon as possible and learn how to drive, especially if you're in Texas. Because if you learn how to drive, a lot of your costs, overhead costs, will go down. Because first of all, you'll be self-reliant. You'll be able to drive uh, in case of an emergency. And once you have a job, you will be able to afford a car that's uh, a very beaten down car that you should drive, which is $2,000 to $5,000, somewhere in between that range. And something like a car which you don't mind if 2 years down the line it cracks down, shuts off, right? You should be able to walk out and just keep going without worrying about what's going to happen. So get a beaten down car, a reliable one. Don't buy a Ford or some other car that you might not feel reliable. Get a reliable car, because I've seen a lot of issues with Ford, or I've seen a lot of good deals on Teslas. I don't know. I haven't driven them myself. I know I have experience with Ford, uh, so that's why I'm speaking about. But overall, get a good, beaten down, reliable, cheap car and drive it as much as you can. For driver's license, the list of documentation as an international student, you will need your passport, your visa. Get a copy of each of these, right? Whenever you go, a bill of address that you might be living at. Make sure if you're sharing rooms with other people, make sure either you're on the lease or you're on a utility bill or electricity bill. Because if you're not on any of these, what's going to happen is uh, you won't have a proof of address. So whenever somebody asks you for a proof of address, you won't have it. You should, right? So make sure you have one of these, and make sure you do apply for the driver's license. When you first you need to walk in, get an appointment, and you do the appointment through here. Schedule an appointment and English, and then you enter all these information, right? And then you go select the date and the nearest county. And just so you know, a heads up, this part, getting an appointment in a nearby area sometimes takes a week, sometimes it takes months. So make sure you do it early on. So like schedule ahead, plan 1 year down the line or 6 months down the line, and try to get an appointment as soon as possible. Because what will happen is if you don't have an appointment, you cannot get in. However, there are some DPSs which lets you walk in the morning 1 hour. So, and I believe it's one of the bigger ones in Houston. That's near Texas Medical Center. So make sure you check them out in the morning because they have walk-ins during the morning. Very few of them, but they do that. The second thing that you need is once you're done with this, you'll need to basically you'll have a once you get a learner's permit. For that, you need to also pursue something called driver's education course, which is which is a 6 hour course that you can take online, right? Yeah, so 6 hour course online you can take from the verified websites, and you can look up the verified websites, um, and that's something you have to take mandatory for the license. Uh, Go with these documentation to get your learner's permit. Once you have your learner's permit, you have to schedule an appointment to get the driving test done. Now, the driving test has multiple components in it. One of few of them are parallel parking, taking roundabouts, stopping at the signal, stopping at the stop sign, left turn, right turn, uh, speeding when necessary, for example, and yielding when necessary. So there's a lot of nuances. So I would recommend to any new driver to learn to read through the Texas driver's manual, which is like a 200-page read. I would recommend going through that so you know all the rules, right? Because driving here is slightly different compared to India. It's a hell of a lot different if you were just considering everybody followed rules in India, but it's a little bit different. It's tricky. There's a lot of rules that you need to follow, but once you understand those rules, driving is very seamless. It's very easy. It's very convenient here uh, compared to India. So make sure you get a driver's license, right? What else? Yes. So that was about driving license, and let me see what else did we have planned. Phone plan, health insurance, and yeah, that's all it's remaining. For health insurance, I would recommend going with the one that university provides. It's BCBX. University of Houston provides a very nice BCBX plan. So make sure you're on that plan. It's very cheap. It's around, uh, or if you because if you go independently, it might cost you up to 1,000 or 1,600 out of pocket, which is not it's not very convenient. Once you've graduated, make sure you have your insurance up to date. because the medical costs here are very high. So I don't want you guys to suffer through something terrible and not have insurance to cover it. So make sure you check up on what's the status of your insurance. Again, you should reach out to ISSSO for guidance on how to verify your insurance, right? That's one of the most important things. On a side note, let me tell you guys, if you don't know how to get your ID cards and other financial help if you need, uh, it's all on the block that's around the financial office on campus near opposite to the rec center, recreation center. You will find the place that gives you the ID card. Don't lose your ID, student ID. It will cost you $20 to get it replaced. Right? It's also a magnetic chip, so make sure you don't lose your ID. I still have mine somewhere. It should be somewhere here. Uh, Maybe did I lose mine? No, I didn't. So make sure you don't lose your student ID. Here's mine. It's old, scratched up, but it still works. What else? Food. There's two dining halls. One is Moody, which is open 24 hours during normal school times, and there's Cougar Woods, which is open from morning 8 or 9 to evening 7 to 8 p.m. The food at Cougar Woods dining was much better when I had it. So and there's a lot of food places on campus that you can avail. Phone plan, I would recommend getting, if you're independent, I would recommend getting Mint Mobile. They have a very good plan. Or and get a prepaid plan so that you know what you're using. If you get a postpaid plan and you don't know the terms and condition, what's gonna happen is you're gonna pay too much out of pocket. So try to get a prepaid plan. Uh, Make sure you lock your phones. I know a lot of people that don't like to lock their phones. Make sure you lock your phone with authentication, and it's so that it's difficult to steal your phone. Um, Make sure you pay stuff on time. America has a very strict credit policy which travels with you for years and years, sometimes even decades. And I know of examples that their credit had traveled with them for a very, very long time, and it created a problem when they were trying to buy a house. Now, what is credit when I talk about it? Let's say you forgot to pay your phone bill or your electricity bill. Don't do it. Make sure you have those things paid off earlier than it was supposed to be paid off. And rent, make sure you don't forget to pay your rent in the first 3 days of when it's due. What else? Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to cover. And let's see if we can open this up to people who wants to ask a question. Okay, since I don't have any questions, I think I'll end the session. Thank you so much if you tuned in even for a minute. I appreciate it. All right, take care. Bye bye.